You're tuned in to Get Right Fantasy.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up, friends? Daniel Dopp here from the Fantasy Focused Football Podcast over on ESPN.
It's Fab here, Michael Fabiano from Sports Illustrated.
You know who you can trust if you've got some questions about your fantasy squad?
Want to check out a cool show on YouTube that'll help you get ready for the fantasy football season?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network. If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Head on over to YouTube. Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network because they're doing everything they can to make you a better fantasy player.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You're tuned in to Get Right Fantasy.
What up, world? Welcome back to the Get Right Fantasy Network. You're here with me, Mike Herrick, a.k.a. Classic Mike. Today, we're going to be going over the actives and inactives at 11:30. We're also going to be going over some news and notes from the last, couple hours or so. A lot of overnight news that we can catch up on prior to coming on. And then as well, like I said, actives and inactives at 11:30, as well as answering your last second start sit questions. So make sure you guys throw those questions in the chat if you have any. And if you guys want your questions answered right away, make sure you guys use that super chat. Helps out the channel. Really appreciate any of that if possible. Also, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing if you're new to the show as well. Alrighty. So first and foremost, Trey Benson. He has not played since week 4 due to a meniscus injury. He must be activated this particular week or his season is pretty much over. And right now it looks like that might be the case. So I would prepare accordingly. Trey Benson probably not going to be here for the rest of the season. Mike Evans has been pushing the play as soon as Thursday night versus the Falcons. He's trying to get himself back into football shape. He had a broken clavicle, but if he does not play this Thursday, they're looking to get him back by the 21st. Jaden Reed listed as questionable for Sunday due to a foot and shoulder injury. He's expected to play today versus the Bears. That was significant. He's been out for quite some time since the beginning of the season. Looks like Max Crosby, he is listed as questionable. He's expected to play today. Chris Olave, he's listed as questionable for his back injuries. He's been having back spasms the last few weeks, but he is expected to play today. This was an interesting one. Dalton Kincaid, he's listed as questionable for Sunday due to a knee and hamstring. It says he plans on playing or plans to try to play. I would just avoid this if possible. You don't want somebody that's in the realm of try to play, but we will keep an eye on it. The Buffalo Bills do play at 1, so we'll know by 11:30 if that's true or not. Bucs left tackle Tristan Wirfs, he is not expected to play today, so that's going to be something to watch. Parker Washington, he is not expected to play today for the Jaguars in rainy Jacksonville. And that's about it. We have 4 mild weather games this week. Colts, Jags, it's going to be a lot of rain. It looks like it's just going to be raining throughout the whole time. There's different reports that say that it's only going to be for the first, or there's going to be no rain for the first 3 quarters, and then it's going to rain after the fact. It's a whole system that's moving through. It could miss them. It could hit them. So I would just expect there to be rain for most of the game, and a lot of short passing, a lot of run game, things like that. Bills Bengals, some snow showers. They're only supposed to get about an inch, but it's it's actually mild, cold. It's about just about freezing, and for them it's actually pretty cool or pretty warm actually. The Titans Browns game, there's going to be some wind, some flurries, but nothing crazy. It's not supposed to be overly that bad. And the same with the Bears and Packers. There's going to be some wind at Lambeau. So nothing real crazy going on in the world of those things. So Let's get to the chat. We got Patrick Lario. What's up, man? He goes, yo, 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 go Big Blue, even though they're on a bye. It's just my intro for the last few years. Of course, my friend. As always enjoy having Patrick here. Rides Chambers, what's up, man? He goes, hello, good luck to everyone in your matchups this week. Of course, thanks, man. We appreciate it. Patrick goes, here we go. Big week for me. Pick 2, Olave, Pittman, Gainwell, or Aaron Jones. I think I'm going to go. I want to go Olave, especially if it's full PPR. Really like Olave in a full PPR setup. I would normally tell you Michael Pittman, but with the weather out there, I'm just not feeling it today. With that type of situation, I'm just trying to see what Aaron Jones is doing right now. Yeah, I'm gonna go Aaron Jones actually. Dealing with a shoulder injury, but he practiced all week. It looks like he's off the report, so he should be good to go. He said, to the media the last few weeks. So I'm going to go Aaron Jones and Chris Olave for this. Riders goes, would you start Jalen Warren over Barkley with Barkley not producing as well as Hope? They're both playing about the same, a good RB2. It's just really the matchup that you're looking at that point. Right now against the running backs, on average, it looks like, hold on one sec. I mean, Falcons are middle of the pack right now, but on the below side of the pack. Chargers are a little bit higher on that list. They're still middle of the pack, but they're higher. They're probably, I think this is 12 or 13. So 13 to 8, 13 or 19 is, the number. I don't think I would sit Barkley. I don't think you can ever sit Barkley. He's just too good of a player. I understand he's underproducing. Lane Johnson's going to be out, so that kind of hurts a little bit for them. Lane Johnson not being there kind of really messes up their line. They're also going to be short no one else on the line, so they should be okay overall. So I can't tell you not to. Jalen is just a little bit better, when it comes to the passing game, but I don't think I would. I think I would keep Barkley in and ride the hand the best you can. I mean, I could go by looking at the last 6 weeks. If you're looking at the last 6 weeks in full PPR, Jalen's at running back 13, while Barkley's at 22. So, I mean, if you want to go based on that, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be against playing him, playing Jalen Warren over Barkley. But it's hard for me to live in a world where I'm not playing Saquon Barkley this time of the year. I get it. I definitely get it. His numbers look, abysmal compared to a lot of the other things that we've seen. He was really reliant on last year on his touchdown production and how well he was doing in that. He hasn't had that the last few weeks. Jalen has just been pretty productive. They've been throwing him in with, they've been trying to get him involved more with Kenneth Gainwell and kind of make it, I wouldn't say even, but they pretty much go at a clip of, 60-40 roughly. But Philly's going, let me see. Yeah, it's about 60-40 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then, with Saquon, he's getting 93% of the touches. That's the crazy, well, not 93% of the touches. I take that back. He's had 93% of the snaps for the team. No one else is getting more touches than, or more opportunities than he is. That's where it's very hard to predict that. And yes, like I said, I understand Jalen Warren has produced better numbers the last few weeks, but Saquon is getting more opportunities to touch, and he's actually had more opportunities, or more attempts than Jalen Warren, only by, what was that, by 6, and only getting 40 yards more. and it's really just 4 points. It looks like so. It's up to you. I can't live in a world where I'm playing a Jalen Warren over him. I just don't see that being productive. Uh, Evan, what's up, man? He goes, "What up, Mike? Currently in transit. Have a great show. Thanks, brother. Hope you had a good time at your jujitsu thing, and hopefully you ended up doing well and getting that belt that you were looking for. So, good luck to you, and hopefully everything worked out in your case." We got Patrick going pick 3: Higgins, Walker, Gainwell, Debo, and then Love and Love or Stafford. I'm gonna probably go with. I think I'm gonna go with Stafford for sure. Stafford, it's just hard not to. It's also in a dome. He'll just, let's face it, any game that's indoors today, I pretty much like a little bit more. But I like Stafford in general, so I'm gonna go Stafford here. Higgins is gonna be one of them. I'm assuming this is full PPR. It's gonna be Higgins, Walker for sure. Those two are pretty much locks for me here, even against the Falcons. The last one's tougher with Gainwell or Debo. I'm probably gonna lean Debo, and it's just because Jaden Daniels is back, so that could be a little bit of a help for him. Gainwell is productive and can do things on his own. I prefer going with a guy that doesn't have as much, even though Terry McLaurin is back and has been doing well. I'm still going to go with Debo. So Higgins, Walker, and Debo are going to be my choices here. And then this one, Titans, Dolphins, or Jags. It's not going to be the Jags. I'm not going to go against one of the best offensives in the league. Titans are going against the Browns against Shador. I like that matchup. I have the Titans playing in a few spots. I also, let me see, Dolphins against the Jets. That's not a horrible one either. They're favored by 2.5, 41 point over under. But I like the Browns game a little more just because the over under is so low. It's at like 33.5. I haven't seen a game that low all year. Even though they're favored, I still think the Titans have a decent defense. And it's really because of Shador. I'd rather play the rookie. Oh no, actually, wait, I have it the other way. Never mind. Go Dolphins. Let's go Dolphins. I was looking at it at the other perspective. I was going against Cam Ward. I have Browns in a lot of situations. Go with the Dolphins. Let's go with the Dolphins. They don't normally do well when they come up north, though. So just remember that. You have 3 tough defenses here that are going to be in situations where they normally are not, their best selves. I'm trying to think of a defense that would be available that you might like. Vikings, maybe. I like the Vikings game a little bit versus Jaden coming back from injury. I don't hate the Jaguars because of Daniel Jones being a little bit more immobile and it's going to be rainy out, but I'm not there yet. So yeah, I'm going to go I'm going to do Dolphins. So Ertz, Waller, or Gatson rest of season. What's going on, Scott Bias? Oh, Scott 2 Bias. Nice. I'd probably stick with Ertz rest of the season. Just the most consistent guy out of the group of those guys. Gatson is just a boomer bust. He's been a lot more boomer bust in the last few weeks. Since week 7, he's tight end 7. Ertz is 12, and Waller isn't on the list because he's too far down. I'd probably stick with just what we saw with Ertz last week. Granted, it was with Mariota, but him and Daniels have a good relationship. I'm gonna stick. Actually, wait, I'm gonna go from week 8 instead of 7, and Ertz is because Gatson had one big game in that week. So yeah, I'm gonna go Ertz here. I like Ertz better anyway. He's just more consistent with his numbers in general. I like consistency in this time of year. I don't like boom or bust guys because you never know when the boom is going to happen. The bust tends to happen more than the boom. and it's really based on matchups as well. If we want to look at their particular situation moving forward, they got the Giants in 15, Philly in 16, and Dallas in 17. So that's one bad matchup with two good matchups. I like that particular scenario. Giants are usually a really good matchup versus them, even though they are currently okay against the tight end. It's really more because of the concept they haven't really faced any decent, tight end that really matters and have put up numbers. And if you look at if you look at Ertz's season as a whole, he's had 1, 2, 3 top 10 finishes so far this year. Not bad. Not bad for a guy like him who has, he might be a little older. Gadsden, he's been a little bit different. Like I said, he's been back and forth the last few weeks. He's had one top 10 or two top 10 finishes instead of three, which isn't the end of the world. He did have a top or tight end 10 day, which, maybe I'll count for three. But for the last few weeks, he's been only getting 3 or 4 points per game. He had a good run for a minute. Justin Herbert's hurt. That line has been beat up. So I'd rather have the team that's a little bit, better on their line and a little bit better of, well, I wouldn't say better of a quarterback. I think Justin Herbert's better, but being banged up, that doesn't help him. Patrick goes, shit, just as said that I dropped the Dolphins and grabbed up Titans, so stuck with the Titans. Also, could you pick up Bills or Eagles D? I would pick up the Eagles D. I would be okay with the Eagles D this week. They have to. I mean, Justin Herbert's going to be in a situation where they have a better line than their offensive line. I would go with the Eagles D. Oop, there we go. I would go with the Eagles D out of this group. The line is a little higher, so it's a little nerve-wracking because it's at a 41. Well, it's not high, but they're favored. This is in a dome. It's home, or away for them. Yeah, I'm gonna go Eagles here. Monday night, they always show up, or at least I think they do. So yeah, I'm gonna go Eagles D for this one. What up, Albert? Great to have you here as always. Albert, always a great contributor to the show. Always enjoy having Albert here. Make sure you guys are throwing those questions in the chat. I will be bringing you any news that comes in. Oh boy, Bengals suspended Jerome Burton for today's game. He wasn't coming to today's game. I left that news out just because no one's playing Jermaine Burton. But it looks like he is suspended for this game. That stinks. He has been a real trouble case for them. Really good receiver. Just can't get things together. This is a great question. Really great question, Albert. Daniels or Brissett? I have to go with Brissett. I have to. I talked about this on not this for I wasn't here last Friday. I had my birthday, so I was taking the week off. But he's been since week 6. He's been QB4 on the year. QB4. That's amazing for a guy like him to be QB4 even without anything crazy. He's only pretty much the game plan is throw to Trey McBride. Like that's all he's doing is throwing to Trey McBride and Michael Wilson. And he's throwing it for 40 times a game. I mean, his attempts are almost like it's incredible to see how much he throws. I was looking at it the other day, and he's throwing the ball 40 plus times every game except for 2. And those were 31 and 36, which most QBs barely go over 20 or 25. So he's been throwing the ball like crazy. Yeah, he had a down week last week against Tampa Bay. He had a down week versus Jacksonville, but his floor is higher than anything Jaden Daniels can do the last few weeks. Jaden Daniels has not been doing what people are expecting him to. He's coming back from an injury that I understand it wasn't his, it wasn't his feet and it wasn't his throwing arm, but it was still a really bad injury that needed to come back from. His floor has only been 16 at this point, and he had one game that was a QB5. I'm sticking with Jacoby because they are putting him in a position to do well, and they seem to have found something that they couldn't find with Kyler, which is crazy to think because, I mean, Kyler, a higher draft pick, all that stuff. Brissett has been doing very well in his situation. This is a very tough matchup, so I will caveat it with a very tough matchup, but the over-under for this game is 48. The Rams are favored by 9.5. Those things kind of come into play a little bit. The narrative being they're being behind, they're going to have to pass the ball. And there you go. They actually have a formidable defense. So I actually think that they can keep up with the Rams here and there. So I'm going to go Brissett. And I think Brissett should be considered a top 10 quarterback for the rest of the year. That's my bold statement of the day. I'm all in on Brissett. All in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, throw those questions in the chat. I am still just waiting on actives and inactives that should be coming through within the next 10 minutes or so. Usually, sometimes they come in a little early, sometimes they don't. It's really based on who and what's going on. We're probably still going to be waiting for. I think the big ones we're going to be waiting for are Dalton Kincaid, Chris Olave. Those are two of the really big ones that we need to know the answers to. But I'm pretty sure Chris Olave is playing. They said they expected him to play. I have him in my lineup. Hopefully he is playing today. More I keep reading. I'm just going down the games this week. We got Seahawks and Falcons. More I keep looking. Drake London doesn't look like he could be finishing out the year with the PCL injury. It seems to be a big problem with him getting back. So we'll see what happens. Ooh, we got a question in the chat. We got Smokey the Cat. What's up, Smokey? He goes, what up, bro? Full PPR. Nice. Vidal or Charbonnet at the flex. Thanks. It's kind of crazy. I just picked up Vele a couple minutes ago in one of my leagues. Saw him sitting there. He's not a horrible option this week. He really isn't. Charbonnet, I don't mind. It's a good matchup for them. They're favored by 6.5, 45 roughly 44.5 point over under. So it's a good matchup for them. If they get up, they're going to run both. He's been consistent. At least he's at least flex worthy. He's RB28 on the season so far. He's been getting anywhere between 11 to 6 points, 5 points, 4. He's only had one game where he's gone below a certain number, but he's only had one top 10 finish. He's only done, and that was when I think he only had the backfield to himself or something like that. And either way, he hasn't really been doing that great as of late. But Vele, he's been doing something. He has a connection with Tyler Shuck, and they've been using him as such. I don't hate him this week. I actually put him in the flex for one of my situations that I needed to have. And they've been giving him more run as of late as well. Let me just get the numbers for you because I hate being wrong with that. He would be in he's in, where are they? There he is. So in the last few weeks, let's move this over. He's been in on 89 and 88% of the snaps, which is very good. It's way more than, it's about the same as Chris Olave, but it's actually more in some situations as well. He's been a little bit more involved in their offense, getting, at least 7 targets, 8 targets the last 2 weeks. So he's involved in the passing game along with Johnson and Olave. I don't hate it, man. I don't hate it at all. It gives you a little bit more of a boom than a bust, if you will. I just like his production a little bit higher than somebody like Charbonnet, who he's capped by other people. So is Vele, but I think he's in an offense where they're going to be playing from behind, have to throw it. They're underdogs by 8. The over-under isn't high, but that just means that they're going to be passing a little bit more, higher stat, totals when it comes to targets and catches and stuff like that. And I don't hate the matchup either. Let me just double check my math here. The Bucks are 22nd worst against the pass. Don't hate that at all. In comparison to the Falcons, who are 23rd. So I mean, they're relatively both really bad. Against their position that they're playing. So it's good matchups in both scenarios. I'd rather take the passer, in this case, full PPR with the wide receiver, even though Sharps is involved in the passing game, but I do like Vele a little bit more. So that's a great question, man. I'm glad you brought up Vele. Really like him a lot. Little surprised that Denver let him go, but really like him. Looks like Dalton Kincaid. Kincaid is active today. Just got the word. Dalton Kincaid is active. So be aware of that. No problem, brother. That's what I'm here for. Here to help you out with anything you guys need. Dalton Kincaid is active. That's big. They said he was trending towards playing, but they didn't know. They were trying to play, blah, 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 blah. He's been dealing with a hamstring. So my assumption would be that they're going to probably ease him in a little bit. I don't think that he's going to have, 100% of the snaps or anything like that. I think that they're going to try to keep him healthy and run him around a little bit, but I don't think he's going to be 100%. Let me see. Chargers are getting Marion Hampton back. Okay. Yeah, that's a big deal. So for those that don't know, the Chiefs are going to be without their top 3 linemen this week. Trey Smith, Josh Simmons, and I forgot the other one who's out currently. But they have 3 of their 5 out, starting offensive linemen going against one of the best defenses in the league. This is going to be a tough game for Patrick Mahomes. I have to play Patrick Mahomes. I have no choice. He's been relatively good the last few weeks. He's QB6. He had a really good game on Thanksgiving. And they still did well, even with 2 of their guys out of the 3. So it's hard for me to pivot to a guy. Like I have Justin Herbert. I can't pivot to him. I just can't. So it's going to be an interesting situation. And I already know that Brissett isn't available because actually people picked him up a little while ago. I have Tyrod Taylor, JJ McCarthy, or guys like that, and I'm just not willing to go there yet. Not willing to go there. What up, Rafi? Rafi Bomb. Hey, brah, what's up? He goes, Mbuka or Pierce and Kincaid or Juwan. So I'm gonna go with Juwan Johnson. And it's really just because we know what he's been doing the last few weeks. He's been consistent with targets. Kincaid, it's great that he's back. It's a great matchup versus the Bengals. I'm just unsure of what they're going to do with him and the amount he plays. Now, I like Kincaid's matchup, and I probably would have him ranked higher if he was healthy. But Juwan is just a safer option. If you are in the boat of going, hey, I love this matchup, I'm just going to, just go with what history has told us this whole year and play whatever tight end versus the Bengals, go for it. I'm just nervous about it. So I would pivot because you have a good pivot to Juwan Johnson. That's just me. Mbuka and Pierce is a little bit easier for me. I'd rather use Mbuka this week against the Saints. In general, the game in Jacksonville is going to be rainy. It's going to be gross. We got Daniel Jones, who has not been his best self lately because of the fibula fracture. He did have a great game last week. I'm not going to lie. I like Alec Pierce, but it's a little bit harder for me to trust him moving forward. Not moving forward. To trust him in this game. Mbuka's in a better situation. They're playing in a better situation weather-wise. They're playing against the Saints, who are not that great in general. But they have been doing a little bit better against the wide receiver as of late. They're 12th overall against the wide receiver. Um, that's my only caveat. But Michael Evans ain't back. Chris Godwin is involved, but not crazy. They're still keeping him in the number one role. I like Mbuka a little bit better than Pierce, but I think they could probably do about the same. So if they're about the same, the little edge is to Mbuka, just because of the weather. And then Kincaid, I'm not against you playing Kincaid. I get it. But I would temper expectation. He's maybe he could get 2 touchdowns and just they bring him in on goal line scenarios. Go Kincaid. Just go Kincaid. I don't feel great about it. I'm a very cautious man, as you can tell. I prefer going with the known over the unknown. Just how I am and how I'm built. All right. Getting some actives and inactives. Don't worry, Marcos. I see you there. We will get you in a second. Just going actives and inactives. Alvin Kamara inactive. We already knew about that. Chris Olave is active. So Chris Olave is active. I hate when some teams post their actives and inactives. It looks like they're inactive when they're active. Annoying. Parker Washington inactive today. Kincaid is active. We already knew about that. Conklin is inactive. So right tackle for the Browns is out. Cushenberry is out. That's bad for the Titans. No one crazy there. Drake London officially inactive. We already knew about that. Justin Fields, who was inactive as of, I think, Friday. Ravens, no one crazy. Okay. Still waiting on a few guys. But that actually seems to be the biggies today. Tristan Wirfs is inactive. We already knew that. All right. So if I see any others, like I said, the biggest names that we were looking for with Chris Olave and Kincaid, since Kincaid is active. Jawan, and that question with Javon Johnson and him, I think I'm going to go with let's go Kincaid. Better QB, better offense, better a lot of things. So go Kincaid. Good matchup. Marcos, Buenos Diaz. What's up, man? Great to have you on the show as always. Jacoby or DJ Moore? Love this question. Partially why I put DJ Moore into the thumbnail for this morning. Love his situation in general. It's going to be a rough game to say the least. Packers are pretty good against the pass. They're 13th overall against the pass this week. Jacoby Myers going against Indy, who Indy's going to be playing in the rain. They are also a better matchup against the pass. I just don't feel comfortable in that scenario. I like Caleb a little bit more, slightly. But I think I'm going to go Jacoby. Only by a little bit, though. Only by a little bit. It's so hard for me to be on that. I like DJ Moore better as a wide receiver, and especially without Rome Odunze. I like him a lot more. I think that Jacoby has been doing well the last few weeks, and why they wanted him in the first place. I think I'm going to go Jacoby here. Man, I thought I was going to go more there. Man. Marcos, loving the question with Mahomes and or Jordan Love. If I could pivot to Jordan Love, I would. This is going to be a really rough game. 3 linemen out for Mahomes. This is a Sunday night game. It's going to be in a dome. That's his really only help here. Or no, sorry, it's in Kansas City. I apologize. I thought they were playing in Texas. They are still favored. So that's the only caveat here, is that they're favored, but I think that's more because of the defensive side of the ball. It's only 4 points. So normally it's it's -3 for the home team. In that particular case, I feel like at that point they're pretty even. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I want to tell you Patrick Mahomes. It's just he's gonna be in a rough scenario against that defensive line. Really, really gonna be in a rough spot. But Jordan Love, QB 13 on the year for the last 6 weeks. Yeah, I'm still gonna go. I'm gonna go back to Mahomes. It's hard. You can't not play Mahomes. Play Mahomes. He'll find a way. They always do, and they're a man defense. He'll get a lot of run. He'll probably run out a lot of it. Ray, what's up, brother? He goes Olave or McLaren, full PPR. I want to tell you Olave. I think Olave is the safer play. I think Olave has the higher floor. I think that McLaurin has a higher ceiling, better quarterback, better scenario. I even think he has a better matchup. Let me see. No, worse. Worse going against the best against cornerbacks this year, comparatively to Olave, who's going against the 22nd. I'm gonna go Olave. Don't love the quarterback, but I like Olave. Junkins or Kyron? This is a good one. I wouldn't be against Junkins today. I don't hate Kyron. Really like Kyron, but I hate the usage that he's been getting with Blake Corum in there. Cardinals are 22nd worst against the run, while the Titans are currently 20th. So both in good scenarios. Both are good. I would try to find a way to play both if you can. But I know that might be, well, I don't think it would be that difficult unless you have like a Gibbs or a JT or something like that above him and someone way better in the flex. I would try to play both if you can. But Kyron has been losing touches to Blake here and there for the last few weeks. It makes no sense to me. I understand that Blake has a little bit more push, but Kyron's been getting 67 to it's roughly 70-30, but it's so weird because I don't see it as 70-30. Anytime I watch the game, it's one or the other. So it always feels like a 50-50 split to me. But when it comes to Junkins, man, he's got no one behind him. Dylan Sampson's been hurt the last few weeks. He's been getting 60% of the touches with Ford and Sampson kind of cleaning up behind him. So, and the matchup, I'd probably stick with the better offense with Kyron, with the Rams, because they have a better scenario in general. They're favored by 9.5. If they can keep that narrative, they'll keep him on the field a lot more. Junkins would be in a situation where it's pretty tight. I mean, they're 33-point over/under they're favored by 3.5. That just giving them home field advantage basically. So they're pretty even overall. The number 1 overall pick versus the projected second overall pick at quarterback. It should be fun to watch. So he goes, I would have to bench Bucky, Bijan, or Jacobs. Oh, that sucks. That's great for you though. That's a solid running back core. That must be a bitch to figure out every week though. Well, it must have been easier. It must have been easier with Bucky out. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, so it's a chop league. You cannot play Bijan. It's just not in the, just not something smart to do. You can't not play Jacobs. Bucky's the only guy that I'm like, Bucky going against the Saints, middle of the road, 16th best against the run. I mean, would I play Bucky or Junkins? I'd probably play Junkins, Kyron, or Bucky. I'd probably play Kyron, but it's tough, man. They're gonna ramp him up a little bit. They're gonna definitely ramp him up. That's tough, man. That's tough. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go. I think I would go. I really do. I'm not a big fan of Bucky, man. I like him, but I don't at the same time. He's got two really good backs behind him, and one misstep, he's gone. Like I just Kyron has just Blake Corum. Junkins doesn't have much behind him, but beyond Ford and Sampson, and they're nothing like him. He is a clear number one comparatively to the two. Bijan and Jacobs are locked. Man, I think I would probably go Kyron over Bucky, and I probably have it ranked that way if I'm thinking about it. Let me see. I have Kyron at 11, Bucky at 8. Okay, so they're all roughly around the same. Yeah. I have Bijan 5, Jacobs 7, Bucky 8, Williams 11, Junkins 12. So I mean, you have it in the right order when it comes to my rankings, but yeah. Yeah, I guess stick with what you got then. Then I would probably play Kyron over Junkins in that scenario if you're happy with Bucky. Let's go to Smokey. Smokey goes, any touchdown plays you like this week? Guys that I think that are going to score a touchdown, huh? You could almost put I was going to say CMC, but he's not playing this week. You could almost guarantee who's one of the guys that's on a touchdown. There's somebody on a touchdown streak. I want to say it's Jacobs. So I'll go Jacobs versus the Bears at home. I like that. Let's give it to Jacobs. It'll help out Ray. Help out me too. Mechie, DK, or Burden. Pick 2. Interesting. I like DK. Let's play DK there. I like it's gonna be a tough matchup for him, but I like it. And I'm gonna go Burden. I like the matchup. Rome being out will only help him. I like Burden. Yeah, let's go DK and Burden for that one. DK and Burden. Marcos goes Metcalf or a Marion, man. Hate that question. It's a really good question. It's a really good. That's why I hate it so much. It's just such a good question, because I understand why people are waffling from DK Metcalf. It's clearly a run team, or it's clearly a team that is just checking down and not really passing the ball a ton. He's had one top 10, or if you want to count wide receiver 10, but so let's do 12. He's had wide receiver 12 two times in that ballpark. He averages 7 to 8 targets a game, which is insane. And he barely has the most he's gone is his best game over 100, 126 versus Minnesota. Baltimore, he could get a ton of points as their first time playing each other. Which is I hate how the schedule does this sometimes, where like now all of a sudden is the first time they're actually playing against one another. I mean, come on. I am I I want to say Armarian and Hampton because they're gonna have to run the ball just to keep the pressure off of Herbert, but it's tough. I'm gonna go Hampton, and it's just because of the crap production Look at that. 8 for 9. Or he was 8 targets, 5 catches, and 22 versus Chicago last week. Gross. Just gross. He was lucky he had the rush for the touchdown. Gross. Going on, Marion. Marcos goes Mbuka, Brian Thomas, or DK for the flex spot. I'm going Mbuka. I just don't trust Brian Thomas Jr. and DK Metcalf. I just can't trust. And Mbuka has a better scenario overall, going to get, better quarterback, better scenario. I just like him a lot better. Be growing stuff. What's up, brother? Hey, man, if you're new to the show, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. This is a tough one for me, but I'm going to go with Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson has been a freak of nature when it comes to the sport of fantasy football, or football in general. He's been doing real well. He's he's wide receiver 7 since week 7. We have Chris Olave at wide receiver 7, so he's been a little bit more consistent the last few weeks. Chris Olave is he's the king of consistency. He really is. And if you look at his numbers, he's been doing that. He has only 2 top 10 finishes, but he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's had 6 wide receiver 26 or 24. Let's use 24 as the better marking point. He's had 6 wide receiver 2 basically all year long. He's only had 1 game at 10 in full PPR, and 1 game at 8 versus the Rams, which I can understand. He actually did pretty well against Tampa last time. He had wide receiver 24. He was 14 points that week. But Michael Wilson, man. Michael Wilson has been something else the last few weeks versus any team because of what Jacoby Brissett has been doing the last few weeks. It's incredible. But he can fall out of grace pretty quickly. He has not been consistent. He has been he's only had the 2 weeks where he had 18 and 15 targets. I think I'm going to go Olave actually over Wilson after looking at all that. He's just more consistent, especially in full PPR. So I like him a little bit better in full. If it's half PPR, I would be aiming more Wilson just because he has a higher upside for the touchdown. Olave isn't really a touchdown guy. He has 1 touchdown on the year, and he's more of a consistency. Or sorry, I'm looking at the wrong person. I'm looking at Michael Wilson while I'm talking about Chris Olave. Olave has had 5 touchdowns on the year, so nothing crazy on touchdowns, but he is averaging at least 8 to 9 targets a game, if not more. He's had 13, 10, 14, 6, 11, 10, 7, 2, or 12, 4, 8, 13, and 7. I like all of it. His quality sucks. If he had a better quarterback, he'd be so good. When you're getting a catch percentage of less than 50, it's bad. And it's only because of the quarterback, because they're probably unplayable. So for me, I'm going to go Chris Olave, more consistent for you, better option overall. But with Marvin Harrison out, he has an opportunity to do pretty well. I'm not going to put all my cards in that basket versus the Rams. So I'm going to go Olave. Next, you want to know about Brenton Strange or Mark Andrews. This one's a little bit more difficult for me. I like Brenton Strange a lot more. He hasn't played as much, so it makes his numbers a little skewed just because of how things go. The last 6 weeks, right now, Mark Andrews has been tight end 16, which is pretty low considering. But he's had a pretty good couple of weeks, tight end 6, 9, or he's been 1, 2, 3, 4 tight end finishes in the top 10, which is pretty good. and he's been doing well overall. Steelers, let's see their particular matchup today. Steelers are 27th best against the tight end. Lamar's just been killing me lately. I mean, Strange is too, but not to the same extent. Right now, I mean, Strange had a really good week last week. He seems to be the leader in targets for them most weeks, and he's been doing a lot better in the last 3 weeks. He's tight end 10. He's got 1 touchdown in those 3 weeks. He averages about 6 targets a game, and I think he leads the team overall. I think I'm going to go Strange here. I think he's a safer option than I think he's a safer option here, even versus Indy. And if you're going by the game script of them being down and having to come back, it's also rainy. I mean, they're only favored. Indy's only favored by 1.5 here, and at that, and it's 45, which is really more because of the weather. I think they're going to have to check down a lot more. They're not going to want to throw it as far. It's going to be raining. It's going to be gross, which means a lot of shorter passes. I'm going to go Brenton Strange here. And Parker's out. That's a big loss for them. They don't really have anybody. Michael, they have Tim Patrick as their, the backup for that. So yeah, I'm gonna go Brenton Strange here. So Olave and Strange. So sorry for a really long walk to a short drink of water, but if it's your first time here, that's what I'm all about. I want to give you every perspective that I see. I don't want to just give you bullshit and just pick one or the other. I want you to know what's the best option. So Ray listening, he goes, okay, so back to my chop. Let's do this. Pick 3: Bucky, Ladd, McLaren, Olave, Kyron, and Junkins. Olave, for what I just talked about, he's the most consistent. Kyron, I like a little bit more. I've always been a Kyron fan. Let's go to the last 3 weeks. He's running back 11, which is pretty good. He's only had 1 game outside of 5 points, which was 2 weeks ago versus Tampa, going against Arizona, favorable matchup. I'm going to go Kyron. And then it's Bucky, Ladd, McLaren, and Junkins. Bucky got 1 touchdown last week, if memory serves me right. Let's see. Yeah, finished his running back 15. He had 16 for 61, 2 catches, 1 touchdown, 20 yards. He did have 1 call back, if I remember correctly. I don't like Ladd. I can't play Ladd. I'm just too nervous about Herbert. And McLaren, I love McLaren, but we're going to have to see what happens with Daniels. I just don't feel as comfortable with it. So then it leaves it with Bucky and Junkins. Let's go the last 4 weeks. Junkins is, I mean, I know that Bucky's been out and, he can't really make up for it. But, I mean, the last 2 weeks for Junkins, he's had 2 touchdowns in 1 game, but he had 23 runs versus San Francisco. Has a better matchup versus Tennessee overall. I want to go Junkins here. So it would be Olave, Junkins, and Kyron. It's hard for me to play a guy like Bucky, and I've never really liked Bucky that much comparative, and I would probably move him around a little bit in my rankings based on that. But yeah, I just can't. I can't play. I don't know if I would play him. You can if you'd like to. If it's if one of my three that you didn't like and you wanted to put Bucky in, I get it. But I am not. I am not the biggest fan of Bucky just because of his supporting cast. And until he gets ramped up, I mean, just looking at last week's numbers, so percentages from last week from his usage, he was 52% with Rashad White at 38. I know it affected Sean Tucker the most, but they still gave him the majority of the carries, which is good for him. That means the ramp up this week should be in the 70 to 30 or 70 30 60 40 type range. If you feel that with Bucky getting 60% of the snaps is better than what Judkins can do with his like 90 or no, his 60, what was it, 60%? So they're basically both 60. Yeah, they're both 60% roughly. So if you think that Bucky and him can do well with that, then it's basically a pick between Bucky and Judkins. That's a coin flip for me. I like the matchup a little bit better for Bucky, but I no, for Judkins. Just Tennessee is not that great. Jeffrey Simmons is a big part of that, but Jeffrey has been, he's been back the last few weeks, so it scares me a little bit. Bucky versus New Orleans, it's not really that scary to me. So yeah, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Ray, you are the best, bro. Look at that. He's telling me I'm the best. No. Appreciate you, brother. Goes, you're the best, Mike. I made you work today. Let's go Giants one day. Yeah, thankfully that's the only good thing that I can say about this week is that I don't have to watch the Giants fuck up again. So I am thankful for you, Ray. Thank you. Really appreciate you as always. Really appreciate. I mean, Ray has been a big watcher of the show forever. Been a big part of the channel for many years. So thank you, Ray. Much appreciated. Anybody that's new to the channel, please make sure you guys are liking and subscribing if you haven't already. Really do appreciate it. Helps the algorithm get us out there to more people so that we can, get our faces out there for more people. So make sure you guys, if you haven't, like and subscribe to the show. Why is that not going? Overlays work. Of course. Are they working? Who knows? Don't you love when you're doing this on your own? Ray goes, I'm going to stick with my Bucky. My instincts tell me to. Go for it, brother. And like I said, I'm just giving you my 2 cents. You do you. I always tell people, and I've always been I've always told people when I do these shows and do these things, ultimately the decision is yours. I'm going to give you my 2 cents on what I think might be the best play or what I think is the best option. I'm going to give you every stat that I can think of or any notable thing to discuss so that you guys have the best option. And then you guys pick from that. I'll just give you my 2 cents. But at the end of the day, you guys make your decisions. It's your teams. I want you guys to do well. And I hope you do well. I hope you win this. I hope you continue to do everything you can to win this particular league. That being said, let's expect Judkins to get 3 touchdowns. Hey man, I'm like that too. I like Rasta is the king of picking up a player and then having a horrible game or something bad happening to them. And of course, that happened 2 weeks ago with Kyron. He goes, picks up Kyron, and then all of a sudden he just falls flat in his face. And I'm like, God damn it, Rasta. Does it all the time, man. Does it all the time. Marcos, Hurts, Drake May, or Stafford. Wow. You guys are giving me the good questions today. I appreciate you all coming in today, asking your questions. Really love it. Really love this group. So to give perspective, since week 7, Drake May is QB2, Stafford QB3, Jalen Hurts QB7. I don't like Jalen Hurts to begin with. I understand this is fantasy. I don't like him just because he's more of a rushing quarterback and he does nothing with his arm. And his arm isn't that great. Drake May has been killing it the last few weeks. He's actually been pretty productive overall in any scenario that you can put him in. He has been doing great. Really has. This week, where is he at in my rank? Oh, he's off this week, is he? Aren't the Patriots off? Yeah, you're killing me here. You're killing me, Drake. I'm looking here. I'm looking for Drake May in my rankings, and I'm like, Drake May's not playing this week. So Stafford or Hurts? It's gonna be Stafford. I'm gonna pick Stafford 9 times out of 10. This one's a more interesting one. I'm still gonna go Joe Burrow. You're good, Marcos. It's just you freaked me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, you freaked me out because I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, how is this? Why can't I find Drake May on my list? No, you're good, no worries. So first, or I'll go back to Marcos. Marcos, it's Stafford. Till further notice, Stafford has been doing very well. He loves to pass in the red zone. It's just been a consistent thing. He's been doing very well the last few weeks. Stafford. I hate it because he always passes instead of running the ball with Kyron, but whatever. Hurts and Burrow. It's going to be Burrow for me. Higgins back. Chase back. It's a good matchup versus against the Bills. Bills are pretty good against the wide receiver in general. I think they're 11th best so far, but QBs wise, they are 3rd best. So it's one of those things where it's a tougher matchup for Burrow for sure. I just don't. The Chargers are even worse because they're second, so 3rd and 2nd. So I'm going with the play here, but I like Burrow as a quarterback better. He's just a better quarterback. Hurts has the higher floor because of his rushing ability. I get it. Might not be the worst play. I just like Burrow better. This game could be a shootout for all we know. It is going to be a little snowy, a little gross. It's 54-point over-under. They're not favored. They're underdogs by 6. Narrative, behind, have to throw the ball, blah, 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 blah. I just like that a little bit better than the concept that the Eagles are favored by 2 and 41-point over-under. Just means a closer game and not really what I'm looking for. What up, Sean August? How you doing, brother? Great to have you here today. We got Marcos. He goes pick 2, Pittman, Quentin Johnston, or Manungai. Full PPR. The only caveat to this is Manungai is questionable, but I'm assuming he plays. But you have the pivot to Johnston if you wanted to go that way or if you had to. Pittman isn't a bad option. Love what Pittman's been doing the last few weeks. The problem with Pittman today is that it's raining in Jacksonville. And since it's raining in Jacksonville, I think it's going to be harder for them to push the ball down the field with the pass. Last week really made you hate him with 4 targets, 1 reception for 13 yards. That's probably his 2nd worst game of the year. Actually, no, that's the worst game of his year. But otherwise, he's been pretty good for fantasy overall. 1, 2, 3 wide receiver, 10 finishes and a couple in the 20s. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 top 24 finishes, which is pretty good. Monangai with that run defense or that run game is scary, but the Packers are one of the better run stopping teams in the league. Their defense as a whole has been pretty good, but actually, wait a minute. Where are they? Oh, there they are. They're 10th pretty good, but not horrible matchup. The full PPR is what's killing me here. Quentin Johnson, I can't trust. I think I'm going to go Monungai and then check the. I think I'm going to go Monungai, check the actives and inactives at around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and that should give you a better perspective. I think 3 o'clock is the number because they play at 4:25. So I would check then, and then if you need to pivot, you would have to pivot to Quentin Johnston. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, where you're not sure and you're like, oh no, then I would go Pittman and just eat it and go against it. I mean, Jaguars are 20th against the wide receiver, but they really do have one of the better pass rushes, but they're going against a really good offensive line. Why do I want to say Pittman? Pittman and I get to pick two. My bad. I'm an idiot sitting here. Pittman and Monungai. I just saved myself. Pittman and Monungai. That's who I would do. Whew. Sorry about that. Reading comprehension is not my strong suit, as my friends will tell you. All right. Cool beans. Please, if you guys have any other questions in the chat, throw them in there so that we can get to them. First and foremost, let me talk about Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you guys check out Underdog Fantasy if you haven't already. If you haven't, you should register. And when you do, use promo code GETRIGHT. When you do, there is a promotion currently where they have the play 5, get 100. So if you play 5, you will get 100 to use in your pick'ems. They have great pick'em options every week. Really enjoy using those when I can. So make sure you guys are using the promo code GETRIGHT and you will be able to get that particular promotion. Really great promotion for everybody. Also, for those that are new to the show, please check out our other supporting affiliate podcast with the Extra Point with Phil and the Fantasy Football Tavern with Kendall. He'll be doing a little bit more when he comes back on more of a quote-unquote full-time schedule after his paternity leave. So keep an eye out for him with that. Also check out Evan's podcast as well. He does it's called Barely Fantasy. He also comes out with shorts every week. So make sure you check out Evan as well. Make sure you're subscribing to all those guys, liking their shows as well. Also, make sure you guys, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to this show. Really would appreciate it for those that haven't already. All right. Got through all that. Also, we're getting to that time of year, boys and girls. Unfortunately, it is almost the end of the year. So that means for those leagues that don't have trophies, you might want one. I did it for one of my leagues, and I am so happy that we ended up getting it. But make sure you guys check out TrophySmack.com. They have all your trophy needs that you can take care of. They have their customizable trophies like this, one of their best sellers, as well as the belt, one of their biggest sellers. Really love the belt, as well as the Kirk Cousins chain. Really love those chains, as well as the custom designed ring. Love this. Love the ability to have that ring. They also have banners and helmets. Really cool options for your league. Really love those things. So make sure you guys check out TrophySmack.com and use promo code GETRIGHT, and they will help you at checkout. All righty. Brandon Franks, what's going on, man? Great to have you on the show today. He says, I have May on a bye in 2 leagues. All right, no problem. That's what we're here for. Daniels or Knicks, and any chance McCarthy versus Washington instead of Burrow. All right, so for me, it's Knicks. I like Bo Nix. Bo Nix isn't playing, right? No, where is he playing? Versus the Raiders. Yeah, I'm going Bo Nix. That's the easy one for me. Bo Nix is a lock. I can't play Daniels yet. It's just not there. Better team, better offense for the Broncos. Daniels, he's been good, but he hasn't been great. And I think they're both pretty much in the same field. I'm gonna go Knicks. I can't play McCarthy. I like the matchup. It's a good one. They're at home. They're in a dome. It's comfortable. It's nice. Can't do it. McCarthy just isn't as good as Burrow, but he has a higher floor because of his rushing ability. Right, I love it. You'd be better off with Mike McCarthy. Yeah, I can't do it. I have to go Burrow over McCarthy. The matchup's better overall. Well, not really, because Washington's probably the worst against. Yeah, they're 26 against QBs, but I feel more comfortable with Burrow behind the helm than I do with JJ McCarthy. Come back from concussion protocol. It is home. That's the only caveat. It is in a dome. So if you want to throw that in. But like I said, I am not a big fan of McCarthy in general. I just don't see the ability. He has he has an elite receiver and can't do anything with it. I'm sorry. It's just, I can't. So for me, it's Knicks and Burrow for these. Maybe I just like the color orange. I'm only kidding. Marcos goes Bo Nix or Lamar. Ugh. That's gross. Why have we come to this part of the season where we're asking questions about Lamar over Bo Nix? It's incredible. That's why I love fantasy, man. You can have Brissett as your QB4 for the last 6 weeks, or you can have Lamar, and Lamar isn't even on the freaking spectrum. Lamar currently is QB 26 in the last 6 weeks. That's incredible. He hasn't ellipsed 16 points since week 10. Oh, horrible. And he only missed 2 games, but yet he had his first 3 games as QB4, 3, and 3. That injury, I think, is hampering him more than people think he is. I don't particularly love Bo Nix, but I would play Bo Nix over him just because of that. Just been consistently better. Lamar is just Lamar, so it's hard not to play him, but he's essentially a QB2. He had one game that he was QB1 and it was 40 points. You got to take that out of the equation versus the Giants. That was a great game. But otherwise, they're both pretty. But Bo Nix is better than Daniels, in this case, and better than Lamar, which is crazy to think. He's actually been a little bit below average on his rushing ability. He's pretty good with his legs when he can be. When Sean Payton says run. I think this matchup versus the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be a rough one overall for Lamar. And like I said, for the last 6 weeks, he just hasn't been doing anything. I can even bring this down to the last 3 weeks, and it'd still give you the same answer. Yeah, Knicks at 23 and Lamar at 28. I'm gonna go Bo Nix. Feel a little bit more comfortable with Bo. Yeah. And he also doesn't really have a ton of receivers. Sutton, Franklin, and Mims are actually a little bit better than Zay Flowers and company. Rashad Bateman I like a lot, but they haven't been utilizing him a lot. He's been hurt the last few weeks. Mark, they haven't really been using Isaiah Likely the way they should. Same thing with Mark Andrews. They've been getting him more involved, but not really. They're a run. They should be more of a predominantly run team, but they haven't really been that way this year. Well, they've been third overall, running the ball. So, Ray, for my son, Lamar Brissett. Let's go with the brisket. It's a tougher matchup, though, but I'm going Brissett. You can tell him that Brissett has been QB4 since week 11. So, last 3 weeks, he has been QB4 to Lamar being QB6. Or no, sorry, not QB6, 28. Significantly better. Let's go Brissett. And that's weird. That is weird. And I had them both on the thumbnail. So you can tell your son that I had his quarterbacks on the thumbnail for Friday because of that question right there. It's sad to think that at this point in the season, you're saying Jacoby Brissett is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson in fantasy football. Crazy. Which means, Ray, that Lamar Jackson will be scoring and putting up ridiculous numbers today just because I said that. wait. I got a better one for you. I got a better one. Hold on. So my brother is notorious. My brother in his dynasty league, he has Lamar, Brissett, and Joe Burrow. Whoever is his current quarterback is probably not the option this week. He hasn't been able to do it. I'm sorry, brother. I know you've been having a rough go at it. So he's playing Joe Burrow this week. That means Lamar is going to do well this week. Well, it could be Brissett too because he's not playing him. But I love fantasy sometimes, man. A lot of these things happen. So he also has Daniels. He has Lamar in now. Yeah, I mean, I understand why he's playing Lamar. If any given week we weren't this far into the season and had statistics that go all the way back certain amount, I completely understand. If we were in week 1, completely get why this is the case. We are in week 14. Brissett has been leading the last 6 weeks at QB 4. That's incredible. That means he has been that consistent for 6 weeks that he has been he's been QB 4. So since let's go week 7. Since week 7, he's been QB 4, while Lamar has been QB, I'm still scrolling, 26. That's hard to ignore. That's very hard to ignore. Jaden Daniels, I just can't play that. Like, out of these 3, Jaden, I can't play. I understand the Lamar. I get it. If you looked at his practice, if you looked at Lamar's practice schedule as well, he's been limited, did not practice, full. That's weird. That doesn't happen often. I just don't trust Lamar. I think there's something more going on than they're telling people. I do think that there's something going on, like injury-wise, knee, foot, whatever, ankle, whatever they've been he's been dealing with. I think that's been affecting him. Brissett has been healthy, playing well in an offense, throwing more than 40 times a game. He's just been more consistent and in a better situation for him. I just like it. Uh-oh. I did not know this. I'm glad that I have X. So apparently Bucky was baptized today. Ray. Mental health is everything. In this case, he's being baptized. He feels better. He feels. Stick to your Bucky take. I'll let you get away with it for this week. Stick with that. Oh, just got some weird news. Roman Wilson is inactive while Adam Thielen is active for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Interesting. I know, man. I know for Brissett. I know. I get it. I really do get it. It's one of those things where they're facing him twice. This is the first time they're facing him in week 18. The best matchup that he went against was San Francisco and Seattle. Right? So he went against the Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco, and those were 2 of the best. And I'll throw Green Bay in there too. Even Indy. You know what? I'll throw Indy in there as well. Finished as QB 12, 7, 10, and 4. He has not had a QB finish under QB 12 in the last since week 6. A good matchup, yes. And he's got Houston next week. So he's got 2 really, really big games this week. Just saying, man. I have all the faith in the world for this guy. I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking with Brissett. I'll die in the hill. I will. And I understand everyone's trying to get into their playoffs. I understand everybody's trying to do their thing. And why wouldn't you play Lamar this week? My brother in a league, I mean, like I said, I know he's not playing him this week, but he's been playing the last few weeks, and he's like, I've been getting texts from my brother, and he's just like, God damn it. Like he doesn't understand how Lamar just can't do well. They haven't been able to move the ball. They've been using Derrick Henry. Even Derrick Henry has been mediocre at best. And they just can't do it. They just can't run the ball. They can't throw the ball. They can't do anything. So for an offense that's been doing, well in the past, I'm telling you, man, I'm going Brissett, and I'm just sitting Lamar if I have better options. That's how I'm going. So Marcos goes, thank you for your help. Good luck, everyone. Good luck, my friend. Hope you enjoy your week 14. We are getting dangerously close to the end of the season. Some leagues have their playoffs next week, or bye weeks, or whatever people do coming up. We go in, my playoffs for my leagues are usually week 16 and 17 are the playoff weeks. 15 is when you can get in. But those are mostly my 10-team leagues where we don't have 6 teams getting in. So yeah, real tough time. Really, this is win it in type scenarios. So I get it. Brissett, I think, is the better option. And if you had him, you should be playing him. I'm surprised my brother isn't playing him. Be quite honest. Anyway, I get it. Matchup's probably a big part of it. But Rams versus the QB. Rams are actually 10th comparatively to the other ones. Well, my son is 21. There's no way he'll wake up before the games to change it. Hey, man, good for him. I wish I was 21. I just turned 40. So for me, I wish I was in my 20s being able to sleep all day. Yay. Good for you. Good for Ray's son. Lucky bastard. Anyway. All right, boys and girls, we're going to wrap this up. I don't see any other questions running through here, which is completely okay. I understand we're getting closer to game time. We got about a little less than a half hour, or a little more than a half hour till game time. Make sure you guys, like I said, are checking out Underdog Fantasy using that promo code GetRight. If you guys are registering, please do that. Really enjoy. For those that haven't already, use that promo code GetRight, and they will give you a play for 100. Also, make sure you guys, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the show, as well as checking out our affiliate podcast with the Extra Point with Phil and the Fantasy Football Tavern with Kendall. All righty. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Thank you, Ray, for your contribution today with your super chat. Really do appreciate you. This means a lot to me, so thank you. Be Growing Stuff, thank you for joining us today. Sean, for coming on. Brandon Franks, thank you so much for joining, as well as Marcos, as always. Smokey the Cat, Rafi joining us briefly, and Patrick Lario, as always. Thank you so much for everybody joining us today. I will see you guys I might see you guys next Friday night. We'll see. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but fortunately, my wife is due any day, and we're not sure, so it's going to be a little rocky. I might be here Friday. I might not. I might not be here on Sunday next week. We'll see what happens. It's also based on the baby. So we got a lot going on in the Herrick household, but we will see how that all turns out. But otherwise, I appreciate everybody coming on today. Thank you so much for your time. I will see you guys at one point next week, hopefully. But otherwise, Frank will be here Monday night to help you with the overreactions and waiver pickups. Phil should be here on Tuesday, and Frank will be back Wednesday if he has somebody with him to help him. But otherwise, thank you all for coming today. I will see you guys soon. Hope everybody has a good week 14, unless you're against me. I'll see you all later. Peace.